I want you to think about something. You want to do something on families, you want to do something on money, do a search for books. Those people spend a lot of money coming up with the best book titles. Steal them. I mean, they're just great ideas. It'll spark you in creativity. Oh, it might be a whole message series. You will come up with hundreds of titles. Use them to create some of the message titles or even some of the taglines for your series. Great resource, and it's free.
That's a great insight. Number 3 is music. Okay, if we're doing this series on marriage or whatever it is, all right, what are those musical things? What are the music songs? Because I don't know. Like, I don't listen to a ton of secular music or any of that. But you got to have people there that know that. 4 then is video. Okay, are there video clips that perhaps from movies or from TV shows that we could show? But as well as video then is what do we want the intro video to look like? And as Ron just said, man, I would steal as much as possible. Why ask permission when you can ask forgiveness? Let's be honest. So we're Christians. We believe in forgiveness, which is a great, great thing. So video, I'll get to that in a second. Number 5 then is tokens. Tokens. What are those things that we could do, that we could hand out, that we could put in people's hands that would reinforce the message? So like we did a series on money several years ago called Piggy Bank, and we got stuffed those pig stress balls, because who's not stressed about money? So we did, tokens. So that was one Sunday, and we kind of got in a dodgeball fight, and it got a little ugly, but nonetheless, we had a good time. So what are those things, lifesavers we've handed out? We've handed out anything and everything. If you can think it, this is America, we shall have what we want. Somebody can create it for you. So we've handed out little rocks that say dream on them. We did a series called Dream Again for our Easter. And so when I talked about the stone being rolled away, when it did, Peter's dream was resurrected, then everybody is holding a dream rock in their hand, and they're going, wow, I can, boom. So what are those tokens? What are those things we could do to position? We've done air fresheners for your car. We've given out. I mean, you name it, we've done it. So number 5 is tokens. Number 6 then is website and marketing. Website and marketing. How are we going to market this? What can we do? And please, be creative here. Again, sure, internal mailer, sure, invitation cards 2 weeks before, the week before a series. We always put 2 in each bulletin. Any more than that, we found, and I know some different thought on that has come earlier, we found in order for it to really be relationally potent, if we give people more than 2, they get a little overwhelmed, and they're like, I don't know 12 people, and they kind of freak. So for potency's sake, we say, man, who are 2 people this week you can invite? 2 relationships you've been investing in, and we feel like the potency of relationship, which is word of mouth marketing, which is the most valuable and most potent, is always more effective with that. So, but go beyond that. On a marketing level, what could we do? We did a car show a few summers ago. So when we got to the marketing deal, we were like, we're doing this vintage series on preaching on the 10 Commandments, and it's all kind of got the cars, the movie cars, that kind of that red and chrome feel and the whole deal. And we're like, what could we do for a marketing deal? Well, who's a tribe of people that we could tap? Let's do a car show. And we had people who gave their lives to Christ because of a stinking car show. So I could care less about it, but there are tribes of people out there. We've done 5Ks. You name it. So those are marketing techniques that you can use. So don't just settle for, well, let's send an internal mailer and post. Okay. No, come on. We did a series of a year or so ago called We Play, W-I-I, We Play. We knew we just wanted to have fun with it. So we found a website online where you could create your own me. And so we had a contest in the church that whoever could create their own me, the best, and then make your Facebook and your Twitter profile picture your me for the entire series. So now every friend who sees your Facebook thing come up or your Twitter thing come up, they go, hey, what's with the me picture? Actually, my church is doing a series called We Play. We'd love to have you. Boom. You know how much that costs? Less than a mailer. There you go. Number 7. That's why they don't let me teach the marketing sessions anymore. Number 7 is parking lot and foyer. Parking lot and foyer. How do we, I'm going as fast as I can, Ron. Parking lot and foyer. When people drive on the parking lot, what do we want them to feel? You know, we did a few years ago, we did a series called Fuel for Life, and it was all about energy drinks. That's when energy drinks were all the fashion. Matt, do you drink energy drinks? I'll never tell. And so we were like, how do we get a giant blow-up Red Bull can? And we did like the pulpit. We found a cooler that was a Red Bull deal, and we put a tabletop on top of it. So I preached from a Red Bull can for 6 weeks. Can you imagine? It was crazy. We did Red Bull Sunday. It was awesome. So then number 8 then is your stage. What could we do visually? And guys, listen, don't let your portability be a thing where, well, we're mobile and so we can't do anything on the stage. Give me a break. 460 Sundays, baby. We did portable and we did all kinds of crazy stuff. We built a pitcher's mound over the seats in our auditorium for a baseball series we did one time. Don't say no. Don't tell me it can't be done. Instead, ask the question, how can it be done? And when you've got this group of creative people there, mine them, use them. Then you take your creative thoughts that you've been writing down and recording, and you go back to your leadership team or your creative team, whatever, on a, quote, staff level, and you basically say to them, now, what can we actually do? Based on the budget, based on finance, what can we do with all of these amazing ideas that we've mined out? And that's where you get the best of the best of the best creative ideas. So if you're keeping score, which let me share something with you. We went on the jump drive that you were given, and when you click on Next Level Church and our resources stuff, it gives you a link to listen to our messages at nextlevelchurch.com. Sorry, we figured you could probably figure that out on your own. So let me give you a resource page that we give to anybody that kind of is in our tribe of pastors and church planners that we coach and work with. On my book page, upthemiddle.com, you have to type this in, upthemiddle.com/private, Private. It's a back page. It's a private site for people that pastors and church planners that we're in relationship with. And every series we do, there's the video, the bumper, all the graphics, all my preaching notes, everything you need to do. And it's not pretty like Craig's open site, which is awesome. Like Craig's open site is like, holy smokes, I bet you have people on your staff that do that for you. You're amazing. We really don't. So ours is kind of like white, but everything you need is on there. So if you go to nextlevelchurch.com and you see a series that we've done and it's not on the private site, just email us, and my assistant will get you everything you need, from preaching notes to the slides, the lower thirds for your screens, the bumper video, everything, graphics, anything and everything, as well as the links to, like of the pigs or whatever. All of those links, we can tell you right where we got those and how much we paid for them, so you can leverage that. So your link on your jump drive is not going to be right or accurate, but upthemiddle.com/private will get you everything you need to know in terms of leveraging anything we've created. Take it, use it, make it better. So filling in the blanks. Ready? Here we go. How to lead a creative worship planning meeting. Kind of talked about this. Number 1, invite creative people. Invite creative people. You get it. Talked about it. Invite some of your lay team. Absolutely, man. If I'm standing on the highest rung of the ladder creatively, we're in big trouble. Not because I'm not creative, just because I run out of ideas pretty quick. Number 2, plan for an hour and a half to 2 hours. We've found that if you go from like 9 in the morning, give people some lunch, by 1 o'clock, people's minds are pretty well fried. Number 3, brainstorm with giant Post-it notes. Good golly, Miss Molly, I live by those things because you can see it big. They're great. Number 4, don't underestimate the power of the series title. Ron talked about that. 5, create an atmosphere of acceptance. Again, there are no bad ideas, just bad people with ideas. We're glad you're here. Number 6, do your homework before coming to the meeting. It never fails that when I'm up there kind of leading the creative process, keeping the beach ball in the air, that's kind of my role on those days. The one thing they want to know is, before your people can really start to run down roads of thinking and dreaming and what could it look like and what about the stage and the foyer and the thing, they're always asking me, well, what are you going to talk about? And it's always the worst when I'm like, well, I don't know, marriage and kids and stuff, Jesus, so you got to do your homework. You got to be ready for that, or else you'll be a little bit embarrassed. So, and then 7, build a story score through the worship service. That kind of takes us back into the worship experience that Jim and Ron were talking about just a few minutes ago. So that's how I do Blue Sky meetings. That's how we do creative at Next Level. That will help you fight the monster of Sunday and get ahead on all of this stuff. Amen.
Woo! How's that? That's
Not
the fastest
bad.
you've ever done that, man.
Yes.
Let me give you some practical websites. I talked about Life Church. Open.lifechurch.tv. That's where all the free stuff is for Life Church. You can go on there. I've got a bunch sitting in, that I've got my bookmarks. I'll sit down and you go to North Point Church, northpoint.org, Andy Stanley, Radiant Church in Arizona, radiantchurch.com. A lot of this stuff is in the resources link, but Flatirons Church, they've got all their stuff posted on there too. You can look through all their message series and get ideas. Flatirons Church, what is that, flatironschurch.com. There's another one, tpcc.org. It's Traders Point. Another one. It's got all their series and ideas. When I know what the need is after reading communication cards and just reading through and seeing what's going on in people's hearts and lives, and and you're sensing it, then I'll sit down and just kind of look through. I talk about looking at the landscape of what's happening in churches, and just find series ideas that go, oh man, I love that. The one I haven't done yet that we found was somebody did was the big butts of the Bible.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought, wow, I'd like to do that series, but
would you have the bumper song be "I like big butts and I cannot lie"? That'd be.
I hadn't thought about that.
And then the lights come up and there's Ron.
There's no bad ideas. Okay,
I gotta go. This is a tough crowd.
No, but weave in the creative elements to enhance your ideas. Evaluate. Let me land it on this. You need to create within your church from the ground up a feedback mentality, a feedback culture that you ask people, like, we finish our Saturday night service, what happens, because we do 3 services, is we'll meet with people in the concourse, and then the team, which is myself, the worship pastor, our executive pastor, some of the teaching pastors, and tech, we'll head to the green room, we'll sit down, and we'll go through the entire service. Start to finish, what worked, what didn't work, what felt right, what didn't, and we'll give feedback. And it might be, that song or the thing that you thought was going to be the God moment was not. And so if you're using drama, we've pulled dramas sometimes because that just didn't connect, or we stopped to move videos, or we move a song around, or we'll shift it around. And then and there's no time, here's the thing in feedback, there's no time for people that get their feelings hurt.
Yep.
It's not about you, it's about the kingdom. And so we take about a 10 to 15 minute meeting, we'll drill down on that stuff. Everybody will leave except for the teaching pastors. And if I did the message that weekend, I'll sit in there and the teaching pastors will come, and they have taken notes on my message, and they've timed everything. Every point, they know how long it took. They'll write what landed well, what didn't, what was unclear, what was killer, and we'll go through the whole message, and I'll sit there and say, guys, give me some feedback. And we'll start at the top, and they'll drive through and give me feedback. Now, you cannot build a feedback culture unless you ask for feedback.
Yes.
And I know that process strikes fear in the heart of most senior pastors, because they think somebody's going to tell me if I did good or bad. If you want to be the best communicator you can for Christ, you better ask for feedback.
Yep.
And you better build it into the culture. And and we sit down and talk through that. I think it's in your notes there. Feedback is a breakfast of champions. Hal Mayer taught me this years ago. It must be used as a ladder, not a hammer. That's why you don't like feedback, because people have used it as a hammer in your life, all your life, beating you down, telling you what you did wrong. That's not what feedback is. Feedback is a culture that says, I want this to be a ladder. I want this to make you better tomorrow than you were today. And when feedback becomes that in the culture, it changes. It's part of the language of the Springs. I mean, you'll hear some staff members say, hey, could you give me feedback on that meeting last night? Can you give me feedback on you build that in. Feedback is a safe place. And so, run that in. Let me give you one tool. I'm 1 minute over, but let me give you one tool. No, you know what? I'll come back and do that at the leadership section next. I'll give you the 4 helpful lists next.